Good evening, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing a video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know, and I'm going to do a short reaction video to a video I just watched, and I will link that video in the description below, by Keith Dee, the economist and news reporter that I've been watching lately, and he is very well spoken. And in this video, if you check it out, it's worth watching. He's addressing the question of why the gold from a New York stockpile is being requested apparently by European shareholders or investors. And I don't have all the details of that story. That's not really the point of my video here, but I do want to explain something about why people would do this. And I do believe I'm on the mark. Correct me if I'm wrong. There is a great deal of lost confidence in the United States as far as the world goes, as far as perception and respect and esteem of the U.S., and especially its banks and its politics, its politicians and government. Right now, there is a lot of stuff going on. There has been a lot of recent history, recent being in the last 50 years, or more recently, 25 years or so, where the U.S. has become almost belligerent to the rest of the world, to the point where it's surprising this hasn't happened sooner, if you ask me. It's really about the untrustworthiness, I think, of the U.S. and its banking system, and some things that have recently come to light, some behaviors by our leaders, and the obvious fabrications that they put on blast on the internet and in the news. It's just a simple matter of not knowing what's going to happen in the U.S. You can't trust people here. You can't count on that gold actually staying where it is, because there are, I can speak from my own experience. I've seen photos of the Iraqi war where military leaders who went over there, multiple, like at least 4 of them I've seen separately, acquired Iraqi gold, huge supplies of it, and they were celebrating, photographing themselves. Maybe you've seen these photos, you know what I'm talking about. But it's stuff like this that undermines world confidence, despite the lack of diplomacy, the lack of actual foreign policies that consider the needs of other places in the world. The U.S., as far as I know, has for a long time now had a unilateral, selfish, self-serving foreign policy across the board, where we just take what we want because we want it, because we can, and there's no two ways about it. So it makes sense to me that any other country with a great deal to lose, having something physical in the U.S. as an investment, would probably want it back at about this time, because it doesn't look like we're trustworthy. I think that's the bottom line. Who knows what's going to happen? And like Keith Dee said in his video, the withdrawal of such assets has historically precipitated huge economic problems, huge economic events that, for whatever reason, were caused or exacerbated by the withdrawal itself, but not necessarily by itself. There are a lot of things going on economically. There's inflation, there is the devaluing of the dollar. Keith makes a note of that in his video. He shows some graphs and charts about how during COVID and the disbursement of COVID checks, all of the support checks that were sent out and printed by the government, inflation reached an all-time high because the dollar itself was devalued when it was printed off willy-nilly. Millions and billions of dollars were sent out, trillions perhaps. I don't actually have the number off the top of my head, but a lot of money was printed, and that has the effect of causing inflation. It's a matter of quantity, right? It's supply and demand, and the value of something is in the middle between supply and demand. So if you have a greater supply of dollars, they have less buying power, less value. And this is seen before each recession and during the Great Depression of the 20th century. But I do go on and on. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I just want to say that there is an economic event happening right now. It's been happening, and it's escalating. And I think that the rest of the world has plenty of reasons to be worried about the U.S. economy. And it is probably just erring on the side of safety. They say, well, look, we know Americans aren't above stealing gold, first of all, and they can't be trusted at the moment. And we have a great deal to lose if things go sideways. What more do they need? And I think that it is kind of that simple, if you ask me. Reach out if you like with questions or comments to whitehotrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.